Thank you very much for that nice introduction. And it's always interesting to hear the bio. I actually just show up to work every day and do what I'm asked to do, which is actually tackle some tough business problems and have some fun. And sometimes I forget what I'm actually titled with. I want to spend a few minutes, if I could, just to tell you a little bit more about SAS, who we are, and what the problems we've tackled in the past, and how we've evolved to the point where we are today. As was mentioned, SAS was founded in 1976, and we were founded really looking at dealing with analytics, dealing with data, and we've grown up with that. Data's gotten larger, problems have gotten tougher, and our analytics and our analytic capacity has expanded over the years. If you think about what SAS is very good at, if I had to sum it up, SAS is very good at handling disparate data, whether it's structured, semi-structured, unstructured data, and then we're very good at applying analytics to that data to solve tough business problems. If I think about who we are and how we have evolved over the years, I like to tell folks that I think we're probably in our third phase of our evolution and how we're addressing issues in the market. When we started early on, we really were a tools or a product provider like most software companies were. We dealt with providing people with data access capabilities, providing them with analytic capability that allowed them to analyze data, and then presentation capability, report that data so that it would make sense to business users. And that worked very, very well up until about 1995, and it continues to work well. But in 1995, we realized the future of our business and what the market was looking for were not products that they were going to buy and then program by themselves. They wanted to solve problems. So between 76 and 95, we probably amassed more than 200 different products. So it was time to treat those products as components to solutions. So we said, let's start tackling problems related to customer relationship management. Let's look at problems related to IT performance issues. Let's look at problems related to other financial management issues that may be out there. So we took the products that we had created early on, and we said, let's treat them as components, and let's bring them together, and let's build these solutions. Because people would be able to identify more with solving a business problem than just technology. We realized that software products, the future of software products, were limited because they were going to become a commodity, and if we didn't take those products and start solving problems, we weren't going to differentiate ourselves from the competition. And that worked really well and continues to work really well until the dot-bomb bubble burst, and we said, you know, we need to take it a step even further. Let's solve problems that are specific to particular industries. And at that point in time, long about 2000 or so, we said, let's change our organizational structure. Let's focus in on solutions related to banking. Let's focus in on solutions related to telecommunications, life sciences, government. It's about 10 different industries. So now, rather than just solutions that cut across, we began to look at solutions that were very, very specific to particular industries. Risk assessment for financial services, fraud detection, bringing drugs to market. We had always done that, started to push that really hard. So now we moved from software components to horizontal solutions to solutions that were vertical in nature. Now, by doing that, by developing solutions that were specific to particular industries, we found ourselves capable of talking about the value that we were providing to organizations. What did it mean to an organization if we could reduce fraud by 10%? Wow, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. That might be $20 million. That might be $100 million. So that rather than buying a tool that might cost $50,000 or $100,000, people will not hesitate to spend $5 million with you if they realize they're going to save $100 million. So that was a key. That was a key to our success in moving forward, was to move to more of a value-based approach to solutions. The economy gets tough. What happens? Things slow down a little bit, but they don't slow down for SAS that much. Why? Because if we can help organizations create this this effect on the bottom line, reducing expenses, creating opportunity, and being able to measure it, people are going to continue to do business with you. You are going to be a strategic supplier. This is something that's going to mean a lot to them. Even if the economy's tough, if I come in and tell you that I can improve your margin by 0.5% or 1%, you're going to do business with me. It's the old, if you give me $1 and I'll give you $10 back, you're going to do that no matter what's going on with the economy. So that's worked well. So where are we now? What's interesting now is we now find that organizations out there are more committed than ever to fact-based decision making. It's imperative. They absolutely have to focus in on fact-based decision making, less gut feel, and more on what really matters, which are the facts associated with business decision making. And it used to be restricted, this type of thinking used to be restricted to various departments within organizations. But now it's moved up into boardrooms. We find ourselves having discussions with boards and with CEOs to talk about the difference that we can make in terms of harnessing that data that is available to them and analyzing that data. Let me take a moment just to talk a minute about analytics. We have a 35% market share in advanced analytics. We own that market, and we have for years. Our next closest competitor is IBM with about a 17% market share, and number 3 is Microsoft with about a 3% market share. The word analytics is a term that is used and abused out in the marketplace. Everybody has analytics, but we define analytics at SAS as a spectrum of capability. On the low end of the spectrum, which is very useful for some, are analytics that look at past activity. You're able to slice and dice and look at how many sales did I have last quarter in a particular region. That's interesting, so we can do that. But what we really excel at and what makes a difference for organizations today are the types of analytics that give people a look into the future. Those types of analytics support proactive decision making as opposed to reactive decision making. So we can predict future aspects of business with our predictive analytics. We can look at a customer base for a particular organization and we can say this segment is most likely to respond to this particular offer based on past historical activity, demographics. We can model it and we can say with a degree of certainty that if you do this and spend your money in this direction, you will get this return. There aren't many people that can do that. We also deal heavily in optimization. So you only have a certain amount of money to spend on a particular marketing campaign. How do you spend it? How much of it do you put into print advertising versus web advertising versus a phone call, a contact center? We can optimize that spend to get the best results. So think about that. That's what makes a difference to organizations today. And that's what executives understand today. Now we run into a problem. Okay, I've got an IT organization that has a lot of data over here, and I've got a line of business that has some really tough business problems. What's missing? What's missing is somebody or a group of people that can bridge the gap, the data scientist. That's why programs like this here in Melbourne are extremely important. There is a severe shortage of talent out there today that can bridge the gap between the IT community and the business community. And so what does a data scientist really need to be able to do? A data scientist needs to be able to understand what is possible. They need to be able to communicate very, very well. They need to have a keen understanding of computer science, but not be a computer scientist. They need to have a keen understanding of what's possible from a modeling standpoint, what they can do with data, but they may not be the modelers themselves. They just need to know what's possible. And I mentioned communication. That's probably the most important trait that they need to have. They need to be able to go to and talk to the business user, understand the problem, go over to the IT folks and say, this is the problem we need to solve. Let's talk about extracting that data, modeling it, and let's bridge that gap. When I hear about programs like this, I get very excited because there is so much opportunity for graduates of programs like this. Companies need people like this. Why? Another thing that's affecting us out there today is the Internet of Things. Everybody's talking about the Internet of Things. It's estimated today that there's probably close to 10 billion connected objects out there, IP addresses. Whether it's your refrigerator, whether it's your thermostat, no matter what it is, all these things are talking to each other. But what we're finding that people are really interested in is not so much this concept of the Internet of Things, but it's the analytics of things. So the fact that these devices talk to each other is interesting and it generates lots of data, but that's all it does. What we need to look at is why are these objects talking to each other and what sort of value can we derive from that communication? And that's what we're all about today as well. And organizations are trying to figure out how to harness all this data. So think about where SAS has come from, analyzing data very specific to a particular business problem, to now all this data being available to organizations. How can they harness it? What talent is necessary within the organization to harness that data? And as we look at the Internet of Things, there are other things that affect it as well. We look at mobile devices. Despite the fact that organizations are being breached every day, despite the fact that there are hackers out there, despite the fact that your personal data may be compromised, we don't slow down when it comes to using our mobile devices to transact business. Apple has created an incredible ecosystem out there today. There are healthcare apps. There are apps that allow us to do various types of research. There's Apple Pay out there. People are willing to transact by just holding their phone up to a device and have money transfer. Amazing things are happening out there. And I talked earlier today, and it seems to have come up all day long. There are applications like Uber out there. Who would have thought that 5-10 years ago, you would have entered a bunch of personal information into a free app, given somebody a credit card number, saying, I need a ride, and a car you've never seen before comes by, and the driver says, get in. And you get in. And you take a ride with this individual who you've never met before, and your mother told you when you were growing up, never take rides with strangers. But you do it anyway. And then to make matters worse, there are other apps like this. Airbnb. What if that Uber driver was actually taking you to a house that you'd never been to before, and you're renting a room in that person's house, and hopefully you wake up in the morning. So, but this is what's changing. This is what's changing. So we have to change the way, our intuition. We have to change the way we look at life. We have to change the way that we look at data and what data can do for us. The things that we used to be concerned about and we would never do, we do today. And that's the opportunity out there, isn't it? That's the opportunity when it comes to data. We need to be able to help people make fact-based decisions. We need to recognize that data is an asset that is as important to us as anything else within our companies. Our customers, our products, our facilities, our employees. Data is not simply exhaust from some operational activity. Data is something that we need to be able to harness, we need to be able to leverage, and we need to be able to present that as opportunity for our companies. So there's a lot more I could talk about, but I don't want to take up all the time here. I want to give you a chance to meet Dr. Goodnight and hear his philosophy on business. But I welcome the opportunity to talk further, and congratulations to all of you that are focused in on this field. It is a hot field with a lot of opportunities. So thank you very much. Thank you.